to have the draft report finalized in August. That would give it time for us to then bring it back for you with how, not only whether we are going to proceed forward with it, the bike lanes, but when, where, what, and how. So I think that would give us enough time to exercise it, since this has been a long-going conversation. We'd have a chance for us to get the report, pull it together, do the community outreach, and be ready to either go or not go, and bring that back in September. So I would be comfortable with September.
Commissioner Woods, would you like to modify your motion?
I'd like to modify my motion to defer this until our September 2023 meeting.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
We have a second. Okay. Any further discussion or comments?
Just one point of clarification question. So at that time in August, will you then have a new proposal for the core bikeable network and how commerce gets connected and what the north-south spine is and which streets are one-way or two-way? Like that's what everybody has been waiting on. And is that what we're going to be seeing in August?
We should have the recommendations in August. Well, actually, we should have those recommendations back in June that allow it to be fully vetted with the community again, so that when in August, when we get a draft plan, it's kind of been cooked.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair. The Connect Downtown study is also connected to the moratorium on the valet parking, correct? So
yes, ma'am.
With this, are we saying that that is still enacted until September?
Yes, ma'am.
When we told everybody March?
We had hoped in March that we would, well, if you remember, we did make a request to extend the moratorium, which I believe was on last month's meeting.
It was to May.
To May. Thank you. So we were hoping, and we are a little bit behind in the study, and we've gotten a little, just with trying to get to the right stakeholders, have the right conversation, and make sure that we're truly getting the right stuff plucked. We've gotten a little bit behind. We're trying right now to make up some of that time, but just to give us a little bit of wiggle room. Right now it's May. We may have to come back and ask for you to consider extending it a few more months.
Okay, it's just that community has been waiting a very long time to have something
I understand
done,
that.
so that would just be my concern with it.
Right, but I would hate to say, have y'all do something and then we actually take it away. As I mentioned in June, we're hoping we'll have the draft recommendations, and so that's really going to be telling us what the recommendation is about how we build out the downtown, what it looks like. Where do we want transit priority? Where do we want mobility priorities? Where do we want loading and unloading priorities? How do we want to create this movement, safer movement in the downtown core? We're hoping to have those draft recommendations in June, but then exercise those recommendations with the community. We still got to go back out to the businesses and make sure that they're going to be part of the solution. We got to go, and that includes our valet operators as well. So I hate to give them something that we would then turn around and say, I'm sorry, we're going to take this away. And even though we have the authority and the right to do that, I would just rather not do that. I'd rather say, y'all need to wait. I will tell you right now, when valet companies are approaching us, and especially in the development process, we're telling them to figure out how to do it on property. We're not allowing them to consider the right of way anymore. So as development's coming through, we're saying, sorry, you have to do valet on property. You cannot consider the right of way, just because there is so much need for the use of the right of way, and we're not quite sure what that needs to look at yet. Thank you.
Question on the Connect Downtown study. Do you have any kind of a draft that you've taken to stakeholders yet?
So, yes, sir. Thank you. As a matter of fact, right now, I wouldn't say we have a draft. What we're asking of the stakeholders right now are some options for consideration. So if we were to do transit priority corridors, where would they want it to be? If you're interested in mobility corridors, where in the downtown would you want it? So that sort of goes to your active transportation, which is your bikeway and your pedestrian movement. If you are going to be loading and unloading, what time do you want that? Where do you want those priorities? How do you want it to feel? So right now that is actually available out online. You can actually go, I didn't bring the website, so I apologize, but we'll circulate the website for the board. But you can go into Nashville.gov and go under transportation, and you will see it. It's actually on one of our banners, so it pops up. I apologize, I do not have the website. I looked at all the material today, but the storyboard, the options, the opportunities, that is actually already spelled out in all of that. So a lot of right now as a conversation is, as a community, community, what is it that you want to prioritize? What do you want us to look at? That'll feed into the recommendations that'll come back in June.
Okay. So I think we have a first and a second. And before you leave, council member, is there any further discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, council member. I know you have to run. Okay. Thank you. The next item is an update on the parking program.
Yes, and I'll be short, but I'm excited to share with y'all that last week we actually went live in the Ann Dallas Dudley area. We actually turned the meters on, new signage is up, and people were out there actually using the app, also the QR code, pay by text, and the meter itself, and feeding it. So we're going to continue pushing forward on getting signs up, and as we get signs up, we're removing the single space meters now, and we're turning on the system, so it's working. So I just wanted to give you an update. We are actually pressing forward, and it's pretty exciting, and the community so far has been very receptive to all the new technology, so we're super excited. Did I miss anything, gentlemen? Thumbs up. So just wanted to give you all an update and let you know where we're at. So thank you.
Thank you for that update. Anybody have any questions for the director? Okay, thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is approval of sidewalk vending regulation restricted area. Staff?
Yeah, this was last month, and Councilmember Henderson requested some additional notice to the public. So we did mail a letter to the vendors, which was part of your packet at the very back, and also emailed to you that letter. And also with the letter was, on the back of it was a map, this map that you're viewing. And this was really just to clarify how law enforcement would handle vending on those bounding streets, Union, 8th, and Veterans Boulevard. And so we clarified in here, and also the regulation that you all approved, some changes that were needed last month. We added in here the highlighted section, just clarifying, no vending on both sides of Union, 8th Avenue, and Korean Veterans Boulevard on the bounding streets.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Freeze.
I was going to add, so we talked about this during the last meeting. So it's really an issue of that bounding box in the center lines, where that boundary goes, whether it's in the middle of the road or to the opposite side. It was always the intention of the restricted area to be that way, but we clarified that with the map, and then with this policy, I will say that we sent over 300 letters to vendors who have been permitted in the past in there. So we felt like we've done quite a bit of outreach, as well as emails of the ones that we did have.
Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak about this matter? Okay, so we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a first. Is there a second? We have a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? None. It's been approved. Thank you. All right. The next item is 7.02, which is the policy on residential permit parking.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll take that one. I'm going to ask if we could move this to the next meeting. I apologize. I had not had the appropriate time in which to vet this with legal counsel, and therefore I didn't have a chance to get it out to y'all in advance, so I don't want to make any decisions on the slide. So I will follow up with legal counsel and get their final concerns and get that addressed, and then get this out to y'all way before next month, so that this could be a policy for consideration as we move forward. So I apologize.
Motion to move item to May's agenda.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
We have
My apologies.
We have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Quick question. As a
Sure.
person who lives on a residential permit parking street, so is this going to be kind of incorporated into our whole smart parking type of thing, enforced in the same way, under the same kind of guidance, I
It
guess?
is our hope. However, having met with some neighborhoods, there are some special ways we need to handle the neighborhoods. So we do have a process on how that do that. Mainly, this policy is going to be what will warrant a residential parking permit program. Right now, it's approval of the council member and one application, and it's really not buying into the true need. In essence, when you're taking and putting up a residential parking permit program, you're privatizing the road. And in a court of law, you have to be very careful with that because they're public roads. So you have to have quality of life as a part of it. And so we're putting all of that together, and that's really the policy. We're going to keep intact what's already done, but moving forward, it'll be drafting a policy that will kind of be applying based on y'all's approval. So that's what we'll bring forward, and that's why I really need legal to be buying in and get their 2 cents before I bring it before you. And I just dropped the ball, so my apologies again, but I'll have to before y'all.
Well, that'd be fine. And I know people want to go, but just one comment I'd make, being on a street like that, I think there is residential permit parking streets. I think it's very unclear where those are.
Yes, sir.
So
That's part of it, the
part of
signing.
it as well.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think, I think our next item of business is to go home.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Does anything have to go for the council on this?
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.
continue to pray for their families. We ask that you comfort them like no one can. May their deaths not be in vain. Just as it propelled the Tennessee 3 to action, may it propel this body to do right by the voters of District 52 with our votes today. Today we heard of another mass shooting in Kentucky. Several families whose lives are now shattered. We ask that you be with them, Lord. More than anything, we ask you to guide our state and national leaders in taking action and enacting sensible and just gun laws. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please join me in thanking Elliot Matthews from Overton High School, with a longtime Boy Scout. There you go. All right, obviously everybody may be seated. Without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present throughout the meeting. For individuals watching us for the first time, the 6 red and black ribbons in front of the clerk are in memory of the 6 individuals who were killed at the Covenant School in Nashville 2 weeks ago. Our hearts also go out, as Councilmember Suarez said, they go out to the people of Louisville for the tragic shooting that occurred there today. Starting, Mayor Cooper, you are recognized. Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. This afternoon's vote is unprecedented, but so was the action taken to expel members of the legislature. Voters in District 52 elected Justin Jones to be their voice at the State House, and that voice was taken away this past week. So let's give them their voice back, and I'd call on this body to vote unanimously right now to do just that. Thank you.
And one other quick report, Wally Dietz, Metro Legal Director, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Just very briefly, because you have something very important and historic to do, but I did want to update the council on the fact that we did win an injunction this afternoon. Thank you. We are extremely gratified. The court enjoined the application of the special rules that we argued were causing chaos in the election this year. The court ruled that those rules in that part of the statute violated the Home Rule Amendment, the local legislation clause, and the court enjoined the implementation of that part of the statute by a unanimous 3-0 opinion. So the other issues are reserved. There's a lot to talk about what that means for 2027, but for right now, we have an injunction. The state may or may not decide to appeal, and if they appeal, the Tennessee Supreme Court may or may not decide to accept the appeal. It's discretionary. So the state has to appeal. The Supreme Court has to say yes. We're hopeful the Supreme Court would not take the appeal in the face of this 3-0 opinion and the timetable that we're currently under. But that's up to them. So for today, we have a victory. We are back to an election with 40 members in this council on August 3rd. And before I sit down, I must recognize the amazing lawyers on my team who are here. There's one other. Allison Bustle, stand up, please. Melissa Roberge, stand up, please. These lawyers literally did not have a day off for at least 6 weeks working on this case. And so I'm deeply grateful for the amazing lawyers we have at Metro Legal. I'm grateful to the court, and we will answer all of your questions tomorrow. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Wally. All right, members of the council, the District 52 seat in the Tennessee State House of Representatives has been vacated by the adoption of House Resolution 65 on April 6, 2023. Pursuant to Section 3.04 of the Metropolitan Charter and Rule 49 of the Council Rules of Procedure, this special meeting of the Metro Council is being held for the following purposes: to announce the vacancy of the Tennessee House of Representatives District 52 seat, to discuss Council Rule 49 procedures, and to elect, if determined by this body, the election of an interim successor. I am hereby announcing the vacancy of the Tennessee House of Representatives District 52 seat. Councilmember Murphy, as Chair of the Rules Committee, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move to suspend Rule 49, Parts 1 through 6, and to immediately take nominations from the floor and vote today to fill the vacancy.
All right, are there any objections to suspending the rules? Seeing none, rules are suspended. All right. All right, so in order to do this, because the rules have been suspended, we are asking anyone who wants to make a nomination to stand. Councilmember Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to nominate Representative Justin Jones.
All right, Councilmember Porterfield has nominated Justin Jones to become the interim successor, properly seconded by Councilmember Sepulveda. Are there any further nominations? Seeing none, without objection, nominations are closed. Go back to Councilmember Porterfield. You're recognized, and you will have 5 minutes in which to speak.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Colleagues, I stand as a proud resident of House District 52. On August the 4th, Representative Justin Jones earned the most votes in our Democratic primary, allowing him to advance and win the general election on November the 8th. The people made a choice, and it was the right choice. On Thursday, April the 6th, we witnessed a miscarriage of justice and an egregious assault on our democracy, which resulted in over 70,000 Davidson County voters, our voters, being silenced when our representative was expelled. This is not the first attempt of the state attempting to silence the people. Not even an hour ago, we learned that we were victorious in being granted an injunction against the state's unconstitutional effort of downsizing our council against the will of the people. And just as the people of Nashville were victorious today, we will be victorious again. With this vote to reinstate Representative Jones, we are restoring the political voice of the 70,000 people of District 52. Our community members are more than capable of selecting their representative, and their will should have never been undermined. Representative Jones was honest about who he was, a bold and unapologetic advocate for the community. The people chose their representative, and with this vote, we will send a strong message to our state government and across the country that we will not tolerate threats to our democracy. And colleagues, with that, I ask you to please vote to approve Representative Jones. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Porterfield. I will now call for the election. We have only one nomination before us, and that is the nomination of Justin Jones to be elected to be the interim successor for the vacant seat of District 52 of the Tennessee House of Representatives. Pursuant to Rule 48, we are on the board for the vote. Mr. Clerk, tell me when we are ready. Ready? We are ready. All right, so we are going to be on the board. If you are for the election of Justin Jones to be the interim successor for the vacant seat of Tennessee House District 52, you will vote aye. If not, you will vote no. Mr. Clerk, open up the machines. Votes are in. Mr. Clerk, close the machines. Take the vote. Ayes 36. No. All right, so we can keep moving. Justin Jones has been elected as the interim successor for the vacant seat of Tennessee House District 52, pursuant to the state law and the rules governing the Metropolitan Council. All right, we need council members to stay at your desk as we will immediately call to order a second special meeting after this one. So everyone needs to stay at their desk. I will need a motion to adjourn so we can go into the next meeting. Got a motion to adjourn, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. We stand adjourned. All right, we are now ready to start our next meeting. Okay. Okay.
Hey. Hey, Austin, you ready?
Okay, so you good for me to start? Okay, go ahead and bang it 3 times right there.
Right now?
Yep. Will the meeting please come to order? We welcome you to the Metro Council again. Today is Monday, April 10th, 2023. This is the second of 2 special meetings called for today. While we wait for IT to reboot our computers for the second meeting and for the clerk to go get minutes done and spread among the members' desks, we will stand in a very, very brief recess. Please remain close to your desk. All right, we are stand in recess. Do not leave the chamber. I'll introduce you after, okay? of the minutes from the special meeting that we just ended? Until they get out. Talking to Bob.
So there's 40 total, including Shulman.
You good? Okay. All members have copies of the minutes? Yeah, if there's a correction, I'm going to Councilmember Mendez for a motion, but I need to know if there's anything that needs to be corrected. Councilmember Mendez, you're recognized.
Move approval.
Councilmember Mendez moves approval. Councilmember Hurt seconds the motion. Are there any corrections? Any corrections over here? Councilmember Toombs.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Is the 38 in parentheses, is that the total members present? Because there's 39 of us, not 40.
Mr. Clerk, apparently I count as...
Oh, you count. Okay. I didn't mean to leave you out. I'm sorry.
Sorry. That's right. I'll talk to you after the meeting. All right. So I got a motion and a second. Councilmember Vercher, anything that we need to fix?
I mean, I'll tell the issue that's being discussed, Vice Mayor, is that Councilmember Swope was here for roll call and not here for the vote, and he's not reflected. And I've been sharing with council members that I think this is tallied the way it is typically tallied.
Ms. Darby, I've got a motion and a second. I'm just making sure we got this right. I don't know what
I don't have a copy of the minutes in front of me.
All right, can we get a copy of the minutes? We're trying obviously to hurry through this, but we want to make sure it's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's right. Councilor Mendez, good to go?
I have no issues, thank you.
All right.
I think you should call on Councilmember Sharon Hurt.
Councilmember Hurt?
I mean, what I'm sharing over here is these minutes, like if you never read the minutes, sometimes they read funny, but this is tabulated the way there always are. There were 36 aye votes. There were no votes. It accurately reflects what happened.
All right, so we need to hurry. If we've got a problem, we need to go ahead and address it. Good? Previous question? All right, we're on previous question, not on the minutes. Previous question. All those in favor of the previous question say aye. Opposed, no. Okay, now we're voting on the motion to adopt the minutes. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The minutes are adopted. Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Properly say any discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to adjourn say aye. Opposed, no. We stand adjourned. Thank you all very much. We got work to do.
So the council has adjourned a second of two special meetings tonight. This was not about the when Metro got on the injunction against about the stay of the Council Reduction Act of the state legislators. It was about doing the rest of the Justin Jones to get him reinstated in the legislature. That included a certified copy of the council's minutes, which of course just happened. They had to go get those printed up, done, and the council usually approves them. They usually approve that at the next meeting. Of course, the next meeting of the council is not until next Tuesday. The council didn't want to let any grass grow under their feet about this. You might recall how quickly the legislative leaders and how quickly Governor Lee signed the Council Reduction Act. I had one council member say tonight, I think they're going to learn up there we can act as quickly as they can. So a little bit of tit for tat on that, but that's what the council met for tonight. They'll be talking perhaps more about what goes on with the bill that about the court victory that Metro got today about moving forward on or not moving forward for now with the reduction in size of the Metro Council. The council is at this point is scheduled to meet again 1 week from tomorrow night on April the 18th. The council will be taking up the Titan Stadium, and also may be taking up again, depending on what happens with the state Supreme Court. They'll be taking up again all these things about redistricting, although for right now that appears to be probably going to be deferred or withdrawn at this point. Whatever happens, the Metro Nashville Network will be here to provide live coverage. Until then, good afternoon from the Metro Council chambers. Tonight's two special meetings of the Metropolitan Nashville-Davidson County Council has come to you live from the council chambers at the historic Metro Courthouse. It's been a public affairs presentation of the Metro Nashville Network.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you